Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, family. Welcome to Numbers Matter Podcast, where we explore people, places, and things through an astronumerology analysis. Thank you so much for being here live with me today. This is our Unit 5. We're going to be talking about the Eagles and the Commanders game coming up this Sunday, the NFC East Championship game, y'all. Y'all ready for some football? Are y'all ready for some football? I want to thank everybody here that's joined me today. Welcome to Numbers Matter. I'm a big football fan. If you don't know that about me, I love football. So I love the Eagles, as you can see my background. And I already see I have some Commanders fans in the audience, so this is going to be good. If you like football, let me know who you like. Who's your team? Put your team in the audience if you're watching. If you're watching a rebroadcast, put your team in the comments below. I want to also thank you if you're watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome to BTV. Welcome to Numeralytics. You either could be watching this broadcast on either channel. If you're following me on either channel, why don't you just go ahead and go follow me on the other channel? Just follow me on both so you don't miss anything that I have coming up for you guys this year. But again, let's get back to the football talk. So I am so excited to talk about this because I love football and obviously I love astronumerology. So this is fun. I wanted to do something fun, take the load off. It is football season. We're about to embark on the Super Bowl. So I just wanted to have some fun and kind of look at the teams. And we're going to learn a little bit of history, of course, with the teams and everything like that. So let's just get started. Let me put the slides up. We got some Commanders fans in the audience. All right, that's good. That's fine. Let me put this up. Hold on. Let me change this. These banners. Okay, here we go. Let me take that down so we can see just the banners. All right, so we got the Eagles coming up playing the Commanders this Sunday for an NFC East Championship game. Now, if you guys don't know about football, the NFC East Champion game is the game right before the person gets to go to the Super Bowl. The team gets to go to the Super Bowl. So this is a big weekend in football because it's going to determine who's going to go to the Super Bowl. So from the NFC, we have the Eagles again, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. And on the AFC side, we have the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think the Chiefs won last year, but they've been winning a few years in a row. And Buffalo has never made it there because they haven't really made it past the Chiefs. So this is an interesting weekend for football. So I wanted to take a look at the NFC because the NFC, obviously, you see, is near and dear to me. I love the Philadelphia Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. So I wanted to just have some fun and look at their lytics, the football lytics, and just see, look at a little history and see who has the better chance of winning this Sunday. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let me get over here. I didn't even mean to do that, Queen, with the big background. But no, this eagle background, yes, I did. I did do that. Yes, I did. I put the eagle background. All right, let me get on with the slide. All right, so we're going to talk about the Commanders right now. All right, so here we're going to talk about the Commanders. So first of all, before we get into that, let's just talk about a little bit about the season. So, we're in the same division as the Commanders. We're in the NFC East. So we play them about twice a season. And lately we have only played them twice a season because they haven't been to the playoffs since about 1994. So, they haven't been to the playoffs since about 1994. So, we've been to the playoffs. And if you look at some of the literature, the Eagles are like one of the team of this century that has gone to the playoffs more than any other team. So, we just got to get this out there. You know what I mean? Let everybody know. Everybody be trying to hate on the Eagles, hate on the fans. You're not going to be hating on us. Okay. Okay. We are the best. So, okay, here we go. So Washington Commanders, they actually have they have a real history in the NFL. They were like one of the first, they were the first to have a marching band. They were also one of the first to have a fight song. So we're going to get into this. This is going to be kind of interesting. We're going to get into these numeralytics. So let's get into the Commanders. This is just a historical snapshot of them. So we're going to get into some numeralytics here. And then when we get on to the next slide, we'll get into the ones that I'm really looking at to tell us how this game is going to go on Sunday. So the Washington Commanders were founded, basically, they were established on July 9th, 1932. Okay. So that makes them a water sign with a fire number. So they're steamy, uh, like passionate, but like sensitive. So that's kind of what you can say about them there. So they are number 9 because they were born on a 9-day. They were established on a 9-day. So that favors them a little bit, right now, because we're in a 9 universal year. So then for them, their key numbers are the 9, 3, and 6. They were established in a 6 universal year, so that's pretty interesting. That's an interesting thing because that's one of their key numbers. And their life path is a 4. It's a 22 4. So I know that's why probably someone in my audience likes them, because somebody in my audience I think might be born on the 22nd, and that means, that energy is there for them to have affinity to like this team, So, but the interesting thing about the Commanders is they were born in the period of Cancer, which is the 2-7 period. But they were born on the 9th. So their birth number actually conflicts with the period they were born in. So, yeah. So, that's one thing to look at there. So, and you'll see that throughout here. Like they have like kind of like a love-hate relationship with that 2-7, since they're a 9 team. So we'll look at that. So their opposition numbers are the 2-7, the 5, and the 4-1. So, 2 and 7 go together. They're the moon numbers, and the 4 and 1 go together. They're the sun numbers, but the 4 represents the Aquarius side, and the 1 represents the Leo side. So yeah, so those are their opposition numbers. Now let's get into it. They were founded in Boston. So this is where they originally came from. The Commanders originally came from Boston. They were founded there. Peace and love to everybody that's joining. Thank you for joining me. They were founded in Boston, and they were named after the Boston Braves. And it was a Major League Baseball team that they were named after. So that's how they were founded in 1932. So when they were first founded, the owner, which I think his name is George Preston. Let me get his name for us. His name is George Preston Marshall. Yes, he is the founder of the Redskins. So let me get up here on the screen with the family, so y'all can see this beautiful Eagles background that I'm donning in front of. So yeah, so they were founded in Boston, and they were named the Boston Braves when they first were founded. Now, the Boston Braves equals a number 2 in Chaldean. Like I said, we're going to see their relationship with this 2. And they didn't have much success as the Boston Braves. They didn't have much success there. They had success in the way that they were winning some games, but they didn't have like the crowd. They didn't have the fans. Like, how Eagles fans travel with their team anywhere they go. Eagles fans take over the stadium. You know how we do that as Eagles fans. Well, when Commanders were founded, their fans in Boston didn't give a damn about them. So they didn't come to the game. And the owner got mad when they actually were doing well and they made it to like a championship game and they were going to go play Green Bay. The owner moved the game from Boston to New York City. So he essentially took his home team advantage away, moved the game to New York City. They lost to Green Bay. And that was their first inception, their first championship game. They lost. So that too, that Boston Braves, that name, and the owner felt that. He must have felt that because he didn't like it. So what he ended up doing was he changed the name of the team a year later in 1933. He changed the name of the team to the Boston Redskins. And that equals a 28-1 in Chaldean. So that's a little bit more in line with their number 9. So he must have felt that heat from that, even though the 1 is not, it has some opposition to them, but it's not like the main opposition, and 9s and 1s do get along really great. So with them being a forward 9 as a team, that 1 wasn't too bad for them, but they still didn't have the best of luck with that. They were called the Boston Redskins. And they still were in Boston. And then what they ended up doing the following year, because he was so upset with Boston, and what really took the cake with him was he said that the newspapers at the time were like promoting more the girls field hockey team than they were the football team that was actually, doing pretty good. So he was like, if this is the way Boston is after all the debacle with the championship game and moving it to New York, he ended up saying, forget this. And he moved it back to the Washington, D.C. area, because I believe that's like where he was originally from. So he was like, I'm moving this back to my home area. So he moved this back to his home area, and they moved to Washington, D.C. on February 13th, 1937. Okay, so that would be a 2 universal year. All right, that's a 4 universal month and an 8 universal day. Okay, so that for them moving to Washington that day, kind of, to me, that 4 is like, maybe you shouldn't have did it that month. They saw a little bit of that with their 4 later on. We'll see. But anyway, because the 4 is opposition to them. But anyway, the quarterback actually got hurt during a game that had a 4 in it. It was like one of the championship games. And so that's why I said that about that 4, because, odd and unusual things can happen with that 4, and, accidents and injuries unexpectedly. So, that was kind of like a freak injury, and they ended up losing that game. So, this is some of the history with the Commanders. So when they moved to Washington, D.C., they, that's wasn't really a favorable city, because it's a 5 that adds up to a number 5 for them. So with them being a 9, 3, and 6, that 5 is in opposition to them. So, I think we see some of that through some of the hardships that they've had over the years. They had some really good years too, though. So I don't want to say that all the way through. So they had a lot of really good years, and then they had a lot of stretches where they didn't do so well. So, okay, let's get into it more. And so they actually won 3 Super Bowls. So they're 3-time Super Bowl champions. And the first Super Bowl they won was in 1983. And that was on January 30th. And they were that was a 3 universal year and a 1 personal year for them. So that was a pretty favorable combination for them, because 3 is one of their numbers. So that makes sense to me that they won a Super Bowl that year. And then the next Super Bowl they won was January 31st. Now that's that 4 day, you hear that 4 energy. So they won it on a 4 day. But that was actually an 8 universal year and a 6 personal year for them, which the 6 again is one of their key numbers. And then January 26th is the next Super Bowl that they won. And that one was a 3 universal year again. So they're back to their number, one of their key numbers, the 3 universal year. And that was a 1, of course, personal year. So then when they won 5 championships overall. And I just did the range they did from 1937. And this was before the NFL, obviously, got transferred over to the new system of the way that they do it, which happened, I think, around the 60s. But yeah, so anyway, that's interesting. But they won those championships in a 9 personal year respectively, and a 6 universal year respectively. So I think that's pretty interesting. So now, the Commanders actually have one of the NFL's first fight songs. So I thought that was pretty cool. The song came out August 17th, 1938. I think Green Bay was the other team that had the first fight song. So it was Green Bay, then Washington. But they were like right neck and neck. Like it came out kind of similar times. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, what's even cooler is the Eagles fight song is like the best fight song in the NFL. And even Washington Commanders fans were singing the Eagles fight song at the last game that they had. So I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, oh, they converted her. No. She's like, it's just a catchy song. I'm like, yeah, we know our song's the best. We know our song's the best. But anyway, so they came out with one of the first fight songs. So this is their history, and that was in 1938. And they were actually the first team to have a marching band, and they're only one of 2 teams that currently have a marching band. The Baltimore Ravens are the other team that currently have a marching band. So so their marching band came out on August 9th, which is the 9, came out on a 9 day. And that's their number. So that doesn't surprise me that they did that on a 9 day. And now they were actually the first team to do a radio network. So, this owner was very forward thinking at the time, and he did a lot of things that were kind of like first in the NFL, which we'll see some of that stuff with the Eagles too. And then in 1944 is when they did the radio network. And then they did the cable deal. So they were one of the first teams to do a cable deal where the whole season was going to be aired on cable. And they did that in June 14th, 1950, which that was a 5-day. Okay. And that, that's one of their opposition numbers. But, that all that tells me is that, he probably has some stress going through that. And that was a risk he was taking, something that he was doing for the public. So I thought that's pretty cool. So, yeah. And then let's look at, so this is, I thought this was cool to find out. So now we know the Commanders were the last team to integrate Black players. They were the last team to integrate Black players, and there was a big thing about it down there. And a couple of the newspapers were putting pressure on them, and some government forces were trying to put pressure on them, like that they need to, integrate Black players. And they were the last team to do so. They were the last team to do so. So I thought that was an interesting fun fact just to know. I mean, we know the NFL has its connotations with racism, and like people equate it to like the plantation and, stuff like that. But, just giving that cool fact. All right, let's see. All right. So in 2020, which was a 4 universal year, and we know what else happened that year. That was this past cycle that we just are finishing up right now in this 9 universal year. So in 2020, they retired that name Redskins. I'm not going to get too much into the history of the name and all that stuff, but they retired the name Redskins, and that was in a 4 universal year, and they were in the 2 personal years. So, that's interesting. That happened in the 4 universal year, which is, restriction, boundaries, setting up your structure, foundation to move forward. And then that 2 year, which is in opposition to them. So, and both of those numbers are opposition to them. So I'm sure that they went through some stuff, and they did. If we recall the news, there was like a lot of controversy around that and around that name and all that kind of stuff. So they dealt with some controversy there with that opposition number. And then we have in 2020 to 2021, which 2021 was a 5 universal year, that's a year of dramatic changes. It's like a pivot year for you to kind of change your trajectory if you would like, and it's your opportunity. It's like a second chance midway through your cycle. So in that 5 universal year, that they were called the football team. So for those 2 years, they went as the football team. And then in 2022, which was a 6 universal year, also was a 4 personal year for them. They changed their name to the Commanders. They finally found a good name for themselves with the Commanders, I guess. And that 6 universal year, which makes sense to me because 6 is, that's the year of balance and adjustments and harmonization and, just home, community, inward, end tide. So, that makes sense. Usually in that 6 year, things have to come to a head. Whatever you change in that 5 year, you have to kind of have that come to a head in that 6 year to a balance, if you will. All right. So that's pretty good. Now, their name of their stadium, FedEx Field. FedEx Field is a 12-3 in Chaldean. That's favorable to them because their key numbers are the 9, 3, and 6. So, they play in a stadium that's a, it's in lockstep with their universal code. So the current majority owner, now this is interesting, guys. The current majority owner of the, I'm about to call them the Redskins, of the Commanders, because we're so used to calling them the Redskins all these years. The majority owner is Josh Harris. He actually owns the 76ers, the Philadelphia 76ers. So this is a bit of a conflict. And I seen this coming. I knew that the Commanders were going to win the game against Detroit because I seen it coming that the NFL wanted to have the NFC Championship game against those 2 teams because there's such a good story there. There's such that history, even, with the teams. And their rivalry alone from being in the NFC East. And then you have it that the owner of the majority owner of the Commanders owns the 76ers, which Philadelphia is not too happy with right now. So I think this is interesting. This will not speak on the Steelers. So let me check in with the family. Thank you, family. I'm going to check in with you guys real quick. Peace and love to Kimberly. She said, "Let's go Commanders." That doesn't surprise me because that doesn't surprise me from where she lives and she she's that 22 and she Commanders that was their life path. So she probably has that attraction to them. That's okay. I still love her. I still love her. Peace and love to you, Queen. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And she said, "I got the Eagles background." Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Queen. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Don't get me singing because I will. And she said, "You think you know a person and it's interesting." Thank you so much. Peace to Yeshaya. Peace to the Moray Yeshaya. Wow. She said, DC is a team. DC is also a 4. Yes, Queen. Maybe they should move back home. So, well, yeah. So they did, right? So what do you mean? Like, is the stadium somewhere else down there? Because I don't know exactly. It might not be right in DC proper. So is that what you mean by that, Queen? Tell me what you mean by that. Peace. Everybody's talking. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much. Boston whack for that. Yeah, Boston, that's why I say, Philly, that's why people be trying to hate on us. Philly got the best fans. Hands down. Can't nobody touch our fans. Can't nobody touch us. We travel with our team. We do the thing. We 100% supportive. And yeah, we let them know when we're unhappy with them. And that's okay because we know what that does. That pushes them to be better. And that pushes them to look inward at themselves to correct mistakes. Okay. So they know that they have pressure on them from the fan base that they have to perform. So, that's just what it is in Philly. Yep, New York City does not have a stadium. New York plays their games in New Jersey. Both teams in New York play in the same stadium in Jersey, North Jersey. That's correct. That is correct. FedEx Field is in Maryland. Oh, I wish I had known that, Queen. I didn't do it because I would have did the numerology on Maryland and is to see. What the old stadium is RFK in DC. Yeah. Okay. So FedEx Field is in Maryland. They moved it out of the city proper. Well, yeah, that could be it too, so that could be it too. But I think, they have found a good balance now. They found a very good balance. This is a good year for them. This is a 9 universal year. They're 9 team. So that's why I'm not surprised that they upset Detroit last week. I'm not surprised by that, and sometimes I think when the teams rest too much during after the regular season and they get that rest right before the playoffs, I often think that kind of maybe go against the team a little bit. I know rest is helpful and stuff, but sometimes that gives you a little bit of rust. So I don't know. They went up there and they did the thing, and we're going to see some similarities too between not Jalen Carter. There were so many Jalen's. Jalen Hurts, of course. Jalen Hurts, our quarterback number one of one, QB1, our quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So, we're going to see some similarities between Jalen and Jaden, the quarterback for Commanders. You hear their names. So they have, I'm going to break down and show you the breakdown of their names. And I think it's very interesting. I'm going to give you a little spin on that when we get to it. So let's continue, family, because I think we're doing pretty good here. And I think I'm going to just stay up here with y'all and talk with y'all so y'all can see this beautiful wings behind me. These eagles flying behind me. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're on the road to victory. We're here and we're not going nowhere. And we're coming to get our revenge back from when we lost a couple years ago in 2022. So we're coming back for that. I love it. Doughboy, as an Eagles fan from Alabama, Kellen Moore play calling has to be better. Passing game with the slant pass. Yeah, we could definitely get into that because listen, I watch football, so I could definitely get into the playbook and all that, but we're not going to get too much into that part tonight. We're really looking at the numbers and seeing who the game favors. But of course, I'm talking my stuff because I'm an Eagles fan, so you already know I've been up here talking. So yeah, they not beating us anyway, and we do got to do better. The whole team does. But we got a lot of talent. Our defense is lights out right now. They didn't have their best game last week, but I expect a bounce back from our defense this week. We got the youngest defense in NFL. Jalen Carter's on fire. Quinyon Mitchell's on fire. Reed Blankenship, the other rookie, Cooper DeJean, they're on fire. Slay is out there killing it this year. So, BG got hurt, That's my boy. And plus, you know what we miss with BG? We miss that energy. Because BG be out there talking stuff, okay? BG is a big stuff talker on the field, and that's that energy that we need to make sure that we're moving through. But I've been seeing some clips from the guys this week, and the guys are ready. They're ready to go. Jalen's hyped up because one thing about our quarterback, first of all, he's a Leo, so I don't even think I have to even say more, okay? He's a Leo. He's a Leo 7. You know, he's like me, he's a fire sign with a number. So you know that's my boy. You know that's my boy. Me and him got the same numbers. Just a little bit switched around in the front, but we got the same numbers and everything. So, you know, I love him, and he's going to do good. They're all going to do great. So let's get on with the numbers and let's see who this game's going to favor. Let me look at the slides and see where we left off at with the Commanders. Oh, yeah. So Josh Harris. So we're talking about Josh Harris. He's the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's also the majority owner of the Washington Commanders. And this is interesting to me. This is what the NFL did. They have their scripting in it. You know, I don't think I subscribe to it's all 100% scripted. I think they have a way they wanted to go, and I do think they pushed that a little bit. But I do think there's still talent in the game, and there's still some value in the game. So because you can never know what happened. You never know. People are still the X factor, so people are going to do what people are going to do. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. So Josh Harris. Now, let me tell you, here in Philadelphia, we do not like this guy. Okay, he's not one of our favorites. He does some dumb stuff. They were trying to move the stadium from South Philly down to Center City, which if anybody that lives in Philly knows how Philly is, there's no way you can put a damn stadium down in Center City, Philadelphia. It's already freaking crowded as hell down there. It's already traffic out the wazoo. And you're going to first of all, you're going to upend a bunch of mom and pop shop businesses to put your big stadium up here when it's perfectly fine where it is in South Philly, down where the Link is, down where Citizens Bank Park is, down where Xfinity Live is, the Parks Casinos down there. It's a perfect area. It's an industrial area. It's a perfect area where there's space for people to get parking and all that kind of stuff. Why would you do that? So we don't like him. We don't like him for that. He's trying to move the Sixers downtown, and we don't like that. But it did get an injunction on it. So whatever it was, I don't know if it might have been the people that stood up and was like, nah, we don't want this. So he was trying to do it, but I think it got blocked, and it just got blocked like a few months ago. So we're happy about that in Philly that got blocked. We have mixed feelings here about him being the Sixers owner, and then he owns the Redskins. I mean, the Commanders, excuse me. Obviously, this is America. It's a business. You can do what you want. You can own who you want and all that, I guess, here, obviously. And so I guess, but for us in Philly, we're not really cool with that. So we don't really like this guy. There's no way that y'all are coming here and beating us on our field. I'm just sorry to tell y'all this. It's just not going to happen. There's no way we're going to let that happen. Now let's talk about Josh Harris. He is born 12/29. Okay. So he's a Capricorn. Okay. And he is an 11 person. He's a master number 11. His numbers are the 2, 7, 8, and 11. Now that 2 and 7 are in opposition to that 9, 3, and 6 of the Commanders. And that 8 is, the 8's, it has slight opposition. The 8 doesn't really get along with many numbers, only the 3 and the 6. So the 8, we could say the 8 is in opposition to every number except 3 and 6. So yeah, his numbers aren't exactly favorable when it comes to the Commanders. And I don't think I have the slides up. Let me put the slides up. I'll put them up for a minute so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So here we are down here. The owner, Josh Harris. These are his numbers. And then he purchased the team on May 2023. Well, that's when the purchase started. So it started May 2023. It took about 2 months. These are big, huge deals. They take time to coalesce, billions of dollars. So this took to July 20th where they sealed the deal. Now that's interesting to me because that's in the period of Cancer. So that's in the same period that the Washington Commanders were born or established, if you will. And then it's on the 20. It's on a 2-day, which is favorable to Josh. It's not so favorable to the Commanders, but it is favorable to Josh. And now this is his influence that he's taking over on the team. And again, look at this $6.5 billion deal with 20 partners. So look at the 2 influence that comes with Josh Harris, with him being that master number 11. Okay, so we see this 2 influence here very strong. So like I said, the deal took 2 months to complete. It was done in a 7 universal year. That's Josh's number, a 5 universal month. Tells me that was a stressful period, probably for all parties involved. That's an opposition number to the Commanders and to Josh Harris. And then on a 7 universal day, which is very favorable for Josh Harris. And that's a favorable time for you to receive things that you've set out intentions for in the universe. So, he took 2 months to get this deal done. And, he was rewarded with that being one of his numbers on that day 7. That's that law of attraction. So he attracted those things back to himself. So yeah, so this was a Commander's historical snapshot. So now we're going to get into the Commanderlytics. Okay, so this is Commanderlytics. So I put some nice pictures up here for you guys for your team, Kimberly. I'm just joking, Queen. So let's get into the lytics. So the lytics pages are the pages that we're going to use to pretty much like see, what we think about who could win, that day. And obviously I think the Eagles are going to win. So I don't even, it doesn't really matter what this says. We're going with the Birds. Go Birds. So let's get started, guys. Hold on. Let me get to my Commanders page because, oh yeah, here we go. Because I wanted my background stuff. Okay. So the Commanderlytics, guys, this is their Numeralytics. So again, they were established as a football team on 7/9/1932. That makes them a 9 team. That makes their key numbers, the artistic trio, the 9, 3, and 6, established in a 6 universal year of 4 destiny. So there you go. They were born in the period of 2/7. So we'll look at that. And right now they're in a 7 personal year. Okay, so they're in a 7 personal year. This is poignant for the owner because this is one of his key numbers. This is an opposition number to the Commanders. So that's why you do see that in red. That's opposition to them. So that could mean strife because a 7 personal year could mean, some soul searching, some digging deep. So, as a team, I'm sure they've done that this year. They've dug down deep to bring themselves up out of the hole that they were in. They haven't been to the playoffs since like 1994, guys. That's a long time ago. That's like 2 cycles ago. So that's a long time, and that's one of the second stretches that this team has had without going to the playoffs for those long periods of time. And the other stretch that they had, interestingly enough, was during the time when they wouldn't draft a black player. So that's what they get for that. But anyway, so again, their opposition is the 2/7, the 5, and the 4/1, which are all together. Okay, those numbers go together. So when you see the double numbers, that's why I put them both, because if they're opposition to one, they're going to be opposition to the other. Washington Commanders equals a number 6, so that's favorable to them. That's one of their key numbers. So that name in Chaldean equals up to a 6. And that's very favorable to them. So they found a good name. Finally, they found a good home. They found a good name. Excuse me. So, I think this is a part of the reason why they're seeing some of the success they're starting to see now, with changing their name to the Commanders. Under that name, Redskins, they had very bad luck with the playoffs, with those stretches. So it's interesting to see that. So FedEx Field again is a number 3. And that's in lockstep with their personal universal code. Their majority owner, Josh, he's 60 this year. So that's poignant because he's 60 years old this year. That's one of the key numbers to the Washington Commanders. His name in Chaldean equals up to a 3, and I just used the name that he goes by, which is Josh Harris. I didn't do his full name and all that stuff. We just go what they go by. So Josh Harris is a 3, so that's in lockstep with the Commander's personal universal code. Now that 29th that he's born on is that opposition to them, that 2/7. He's a life path 7. That's an opposition to his team. And he's in a 5 personal year. That's opposition to his team and to himself. So that's something. That's something to look at. Their head coach, Dan Quinn, he's a good head coach. He is. Dan Quinn has, he's helped bring them out of the depths of things. Just need to take a little sip of this. Hear my voice cracking. So Dan Quinn, his name equals up to a 1 in Chaldean. He was born on 9/11. And so you see why Josh Harris hired him as a coach, because they have the same number. That 29 is basically the 11. So Josh and the head coach, Dan, have the same number. But what that tells me is all of Dan's numbers are in opposition to the Commanders team. Like his numbers are all opposition numbers to the team. The 2, 7, 5, and 11 are opposition numbers to the 9, 3, and 6. So that's something interesting. He is a 1 life path. So, he is here to do big things and be an innovator and a trailblazer, which I think he's done that in his career. And he's in a 3 personal year. So for him, that's pretty good. That's expansion. And they've done that this year. They've expanded things. They've had the most wins that they've had in years. They made it back to the playoffs, and they made it all. Not only did they make it to the playoffs, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. So I think that speaks volumes for that Jupiter influence with the head coach, with them being in him being in a 3 personal year. Also, the quarterback Jaden Daniels is in a 3 personal year. So that makes sense to me. It's his rookie year, so I can see that. This is good luck for them. It's good luck for him. And that's also one of his key numbers, which we'll see. So getting on to the quarterback, Jaden, phenomenal young man, hats off to him. Phenomenal young man, phenomenal quarterback. His name equals up to a 3 in the year 2000. That makes me feel old just saying that. His key numbers are the 9, 3, and 6. He is a 5 life path, which is in opposition to his team. And it's also in opposition to his key numbers, which tells me he might have a little, opposition with that. But young man looks like he did fine to me. He's in a 3 personal year. So him and the coach are in a 3 personal year cycle together. So they're creating a lot of this magic with, the team and expanding and having luck. And I'd say that, not saying that they're not talented, but there's a certain degree of luck that helps you when you're always going for it on 4th down. And, they've been doing that this year. So they've been taking that risk. So I think that's interesting. So these are the analytics for the Commanders. Okay. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Let me check in with the crowd real quick. Dun, dun, dun. Hey guys. Hey, what is up with y'all? So what do you guys think of this so far? So far, we see some opposition with the Commanders within their numbers. And we went through some of the stuff with the owner and the coach and the quarterback. So far, this is pretty good. We're going to look at this, and now we're going to go take a look at the best team in town, the Philadelphia Eagles. EAGLES, Eagles. Let's not play games. All right. So let me look at these Eagles. Let me pull them up on the stage. Oops. Hold on. Let me do it like this. I don't know if y'all will be able to see this. I think y'all can see it. Let me get up here with y'all. All right. Let's go, Birds. Let's go. Like, we're going. We're going to the Super Bowl, so I'm excited. And I'm excited that for the challenge. I'm excited for the team that we're playing. I'm excited for the black quarterbacks to be leading in this game. And this be a dominant matchup between 2 dominant players that are doing really well, that have very similar names. The energy, not so similar with the date of births and stuff like that, but their names are very similar. And they have, some similarities there. So it's pretty cool. And we're going to see the differences with that too. So the Eagles, this is the historical snapshot for them. So they were purchased on July 8th, 1933. Their key numbers are the 8, 2, and 7. Established in a 7 universal year. Their destiny is also a 22-4. and they're in the 6th personal year right now. So that the 6 is pretty okay with this team, because the 6 gets along with the 8. The 6 also gets along with the 2. So, 6 is not a opposition number for them, but their opposition numbers are the 4, 5, and 9. And what I find interesting about this is the Commanders are established a day after the Eagles. So they're both Cancers. And one is just a fire sign. That's the Commanders. They're number 9. And the Eagles are Earth number. I'm sorry, I said fire sign. They're a fire number 9. And the Eagles are Earth number 8. So, there's going to be some subtle differences here. So the Eagles are a water sign with an Earth number. That's more of a favorable combination than the Commanders water sign with a fire number. So, that's interesting to me. So again, the Eagles, their key numbers are the 827. Opposition is the 459. Again, their original name was the Yellow Jackets, the Philadelphia Yellow Jackets, which, it's not surprising because I love bees. And it's so funny that their original name was the Yellow Jackets. And even their new name, the Eagles, both of those names resonate with me. So I find that interesting that their name was originally the Yellow. We had to let the bees swarm on that one because that's pretty cool. All right. So let's get back here. So their original name was a Yellow Jackets, which was an 8 in Chaldean. So that 8 that was in lockstep with them, with their personal universal code. So, that was pretty cool. But the owners at the time didn't want to keep that name. They wanted a different name because it was a whole different team. Once they purchased the team, they made it a whole new leaf and stuff like that. So they wanted to change the name and change the logo and all that kind of stuff. So they came up with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it happened with some bell or something. I forget the whole story. I won't get into that whole story. You guys can research that for yourselves. But anyway, they came up with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now now that name change made them a 20 number 2, which is in lockstep with their personal universal code. It's in lockstep with Queen Bee. It's in lockstep with Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, it's just a perfect team. Anyway, Philadelphia now this is the problem. Philadelphia itself, the city, is a number 9 city. It adds up to a 9. So that is in direct opposition. But when you put Philadelphia Eagles together, it equals a 2911, which is that master number 11, and which obviously reduces to the 2, which is in lockstep with our personal universal code. So when you put Philadelphia Eagles together, we're perfect for each other. All right. Now, on to their history. They had one Super Bowl win. That was Super Bowl 52, a 7, the number 7 equaling to 7, right? That's their code. See, it doesn't surprise me that they won that Super Bowl. And that was in the 2017 and 2018 season. That was a 1 and 2 universal year respectively, because we know how the season goes. It goes through 2 years. And then that was a 7 and an 8 personal year respectively for the Eagles, that's a power cycle. The 7 is significant because it's in lockstep with the personal universal code. The 8 is significant because 8 is a power cycle. That's a harvest cycle. That's you're getting what you put in cycle. You're getting it back, that cycle. So yeah, that was perfect. And also it was perfect because it was a 1 universal year going into a 2 universal year. So you know what you do in a 1 universal year, you're planting seeds. And I hate to break it to you Commanders fans, but we're in the 9th universal year from that 1 personal year. So you know the Eagles is coming back to finish business. They started this year, this cycle, the Super Bowl winners, and we're going to end the cycle with the Super Bowl winners. So don't play with us. Don't play with us. Don't play with us. We coming for our 2nd Lombardi trophy, which is in lockstep with our personal universal code in a 9 year. We coming for it, baby. We coming for it. All right. Let me get off of that. Now, they won that Super Bowl on February 4th, 2018. That was that was actually 11. It was an 11 universal year, not a 2. And it was their 8 personal year. It was a 4. Can I see that? It was a 4 universal month, a 1 personal month. It was an 8 universal day and a 5 personal day, which that 4 and that 5, it tells me those are in opposition to the Eagles. It tells me they had stress. There was strife. Of course, it's a Super Bowl. There's going to be stressful times, but like the winners they persevered and they won that Super Bowl. And we took it home that year. And we're going to do the same thing this year. We started the cycle as Super Bowl winners. We're ending the cycle as Super Bowl winners. That's the Queen Bee's word. Okay. Now let's get on to their stadium where they play. They play in Philadelphia. Our teams play in South Philly. Like I just told you guys a little history. All our teams play in South Philly. And that knucklehead Josh Harris, that knucklehead trying to move the Sixers out. Like, come on. You don't know Philly. Get out of here. Go live in Washington and go own their basketball team. If that's what you want to do. Don't be trying to own us and own the Commanders and think you're going to come to our stadium in Philly and win. That's not happening, sir. Sorry to tell you, that's not going to happen. Especially when we're destined for this, based on these Numeralytics. Now, Lincoln Financial Field is a little opposition. It's a 13-4. But we do well at the link. Like, we do well at the link. And, with that 13, it's about understanding power. And I think that's why we do so well, because we're winners. We work on the top of our numbers in Philly as a team. So we persevere through our opposition. So I think, that's how we do well at the link. We don't lose many games at home at all. Not at all. So that's good news for us. Now, our current majority owner, Jeffrey Lurie, he is a Virgo 8 person, Earth, baby. Listen, those Earths, those are businessmen. He's got that 8 legacy, power, authority, executive, director, manager. Jeffrey Lurie, listen, he's got the numbers for this, guys. He's got the numbers for this. So owner-wise, our owner is years ahead of your owner. Is years ahead of him with this. All right. He's got that 8. That's the old soul number. That's the elders. He probably get ancestral guidance and all that kind of stuff. So, and I also think Jeffrey Lurie is such a smart man. I almost think he kind of knows a little bit something about this, because a lot of those lytics, when we look, I'm like, dag, all of these lytics match here. But, that's just the energy of the universe. But, some of these people, they use numerology to their advantage, so the ones that know it, they use it. Trust me, a lot of these stars and celebrities and stuff use this stuff to their advantage. And that's what I want us, all people, to start doing, so we can be in the right place at the right time. And we can be doing stuff in lockstep with ourselves and with our personal universal code, with the universe at our back, instead of swimming through a riptide, trying to swim back to shore. So that's what this is for. So if you want to know your numbers, make sure you hit me up on numeralytics.biz. Let me get my banner up here real quick. Make sure you guys hit me up there if you want to know your numbers. Okay. If you want some nice clothing that is very inspirational and uplifting, you can go to besmartclothing.com. We had a good sale going on. I think you guys missed it. It was 20% off, but we do always have a sale going on there, because I always offer free shipping. So if you go there, you can use the code for free shipping to do that. And of course, make sure you're following us on YouTube. Make sure you like this video. Please thumb up the video. If you're in here watching it, thumb it up. Share it with a fan. Share it with an Eagles fan. Share it with a Commanders fan. Definitely share it with an Eagles fan, because I'm up here talking my stuff on my Eagles. So definitely share it with an Eagles fan. And then follow me on TikTok if you so please. All right. So back to these Eagoletics. So let's talk about Jeffrey Lurie a little bit. So he's we really like Jeffrey Lurie here in the city. We really respect him. He's a really good owner. He puts money into the team, and he does what he needs to do to make sure that the team is in the best position to win. We did have some rough years, as far as when we had Chip Kelly as our head coach. Like, that was a whole nightmare situation with him. He dismantled like one of the best teams that we ever had here. So that was kind of bad. But he, like I said, Jeffrey Lurie, he's an 8. They're no nonsense. Once he saw that this guy was like ruining his team and ruining the name of his team, and, ruin the perception that the fans felt, he got rid of that guy. So no ifs, ands, or buts. He always does what's best for the team. So, we have a lot of faith in him, and we love our owner, Jeffrey Lurie. So, again, he's an Earth. Down to business, his key numbers are the 8, 6, and 5. His net worth is $5.3 billion. Do you see how these numbers follow him? 5.3, that equals an 8. That equals his his birth number, his individual frequency. So, this is what I'm saying about this, guys. This stuff is real. Whatever your number is, we all have a personal universal code. Whatever your number is, I bet your number's following you, in your life. And you won't know about that if you don't know your numbers. So make sure you hit me up if you want to get a keys chart. We'll get you, just your basic numbers and give you some good basic advice that will help you right away out the gate. Okay, so he purchased the team in 1994 for $185 billion. $185 billion deal. And that equals up to a number 5, which is one of his key numbers. This is his 31st season as an owner. That's a 4. That's in lockstep with the Lincoln Financial Field. But it is a little opposition to the Eagles organization itself. And then we remember when we were talking about the Commanders, how I said that they were the last team to integrate Black people, Black players on the team. Well, Jeffrey Lurie was the first to hire a head coach. He was, not the first to hire him, but he was the first person that hired the first coach he hired. I'm sorry. The first coach that he hired when he came on to the Eagles in 1994, when he came on, the first coach he hired was a Black man, Ray Rhodes. And Ray Rhodes, at the time, he was the 3rd Black American head coach in a modern NFL history. So I ain't making this up. The Commanders were the last to integrate Black players. Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles, first coach he hires a Black American, the third Black American coach in the NFL history, in modern history. So this speaks to the volumes of the dignity of our organization, the dignity of our owner. He, did not waver. He hired Ray Rhodes. He let Ray Rhodes do his thing until it wasn't time for him to do it anymore. But he gave that Black man a chance. And I will always respect Jeffrey Lurie for that. I always respect him for the way that he handles his players and the way that he handles things. Very stand-up business guy. Doesn't surprise me with that 8. He commands that. He's an executive. He's a director. He knows how to handle these things. He knows how to work with people. So he does a great job there. So we're very fortunate to have him. And I thought that was pretty cool to look at that difference between these two teams, with their history. So let's get into the Eagles-lytics. I'm going to bring it back up on stage so we can talk about it together. And you guys can see it. So that was their snapshot of their history. That's done for that one. So let's look at their lytics. I'll make this a little bigger for you guys. Oops, I took it off. All right, so looking at the Eagles lytics, again, they were purchased on July 8th, 1933, just 1 year after the Commanders. One day before and 1 year after the Commanders. So pretty interesting. He is so the team, again, water sign, earth number. So that means to tell me that this team plants seeds and nourishes what it grows. And that's, why I just know that they're winning this Super Bowl this year. It's destiny. They have to win. They won. They started off the cycle. So we're going to finish it. So again, their key numbers are the 827, established in the 7 universal year. Destiny is a master number 22. They are in a 6 personal year, which is favorable to them. And this is another reason why I think they're going to win. So let me give you my second reason. So the first reason is that we started the cycle winning the Super Bowl. We're going to end this cycle winning the Super Bowl. The second reason is that 6 personal year that we're in. We're coming back for justice. We're coming back for what's ours. We was robbed in the last 6 universal years. So see, this is what I'm saying, guys. This is why this stuff's so important. We went to the Super Bowl in 2022. That was a 6 universal year. We was robbed in that Super Bowl. We're coming back in our 6th personal year to get our justice, baby. Yes, we are. In the 9 universal year that ends the 1 universal year cycle that we won our first Super Bowl. We're going to win our second one, ending the cycle. So there you have it. I ain't done with the lytics, but that to me is a strong enough case for why the Eagles are going to win this game on Sunday. Now, Philadelphia Eagles, like I said, It adds up to a 29. That's a master number 11, which is a 2. The current majority owner, Jeffrey Lurie, he is a I don't know why that looks like that. Oh, that's his name. I'm sorry. See, I gotta be more on point with my little notes. So his name adds up to a master number 11. That's in lockstep with the Eagles. So I thought that was very interesting. Again, he's an 8 person, Earth sign, Earth number. His keys are the 8, 6, and 5, life path 6, and he is in an 8 personal year. Listen, guys, Jeffrey Lurie's in an 8 personal year. He's an 8 person. You know? So while the other owners are in opposition years to their numbers, Jeffrey Lurie is in a year that's in lockstep. Those are the lytics. I ain't making the lytics up. Those are the lytics. All right. So I'm getting hyped. I might have to sing the flight song before it's over. I don't know. I got to see how I feel. All right. So Nick Sirianni, our head coach. I didn't do Nick's name. Did I write it out? I did not, because I got a lot going on. So I don't think I did his name, but that's okay. We don't need it. And I might do like a small short with an update on Nick's name, or I might make Nick and Jeffrey a part of my other podcast that I want you guys to go check out on my Numeralytics YouTube. It's called Beneath the Surface, Numeralytics in under 7 minutes. And they're very short numerological breakdowns of people, places, and things. So it's very cool. So go check them out. I write them all up, and then it has like a nice like AI thing that goes with it. But I also curate it specifically for what I'm talking about on there. So it's pretty cool. So if you're not subscribed to my Numeralytics channel, go ahead on over there and subscribe to that and check out. I think we have about 3 or 4 episodes up over there, and we'll be putting a new one out soon. So back to this. Nick Sirianni, he is born June 15th, 1981. He is a air sign with an earth number. He is a Gemini 6. Again, you guys hear this 6. I told you we're coming for our justice. His keys are the 6, 5, and 9. He was hired in a 5 universal year, so that's favorable to him. I had the 5 and 9 in red because it's in opposition to the Eagles. But for him, being hired in a 5 universal year is good for him. A year of dramatic change. The Eagles made a big change with a head coach. And that's one of his numbers. So it doesn't surprise me that they picked him. Also doesn't surprise me that they picked him because he is a 6 person. And 6 and 8s, they're the 2 earth numbers. 6 is, one of 2 numbers that gets along well with 8. 8 and 6 are similar. 8 is finance and romance. 6 is romance and finance. So, they have some similarities there. So when people say they don't understand why Jeffrey Lurie hired him, I do, because I know their numbers and I understand why he hired him as a head coach. He believes in him. So getting on it to QB 1 of 1. Jalen Hurts. I love him. Sorry. I just loved me some Jalen Hurts. All right, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Now, this is what, again, these lytics don't make themselves up, guys. Jalen Hurts' name equals a 26-8. That 8 is in lockstep with the Eagles' personal universal code, 827. It's in lockstep with the owner's personal universal code. He's an 865. So Jalen Hurts, I see why Jeffrey Lurie, why they like him, why they picked him, why they believe in him. He has that number. So if you guys don't know, like your birthday is like what you're here to learn, and your name is your teacher. So what the Eagles are here to learn, Jalen Hurts is here to teach them that, with that 8 being in his name. So these are just some of the little interesting things that we numerologists look at, and that we can see the underlying, causes about some of this stuff. So again, Jalen is a Leo. Gosh, I love this guy. Could he be any more perfect? He's a Leo 7. Jeez. He is a fire sign with a water number. His key numbers are the 7, 2, 1, and 4, like another Leo I know. He's got these perfect numbers, the sun and the moon numbers, so he has a lot of good balanced energy within himself. You know, I just love this guy. He's a life path 6. He's coming for his justice. If y'all don't know Jalen Hurts, listen, Leos, first of all, don't play. We don't play with competition and all that stuff. Like, we come out number 1. It ain't going to be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's got that. He's a Leo, so he wants to be number 1. You know, we got that one. We got that in us. And he's in his 6th personal year. So not only is all of that stuff, poignant for him, it's in lockstep with the team. It's in lockstep with the team. So this is why I'm saying that the Eagles are going to win this thing, baby. These are his numbers. Look at the beautiful Eagles up here. Jeffrey Lurie, Jalen Hurts. Here's our beautiful stadium, our coach. And, this is interesting, guys. So this is it. 185 billion, Murray. Yeah. 185 billion. Ain't that something else? But yeah, that's it, guys. So let's get into this last one. Now, the game is going to be this Sunday. That date is January 26th. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Philadelphia is hosting at Lincoln Financial Field. The energy on the day is a number 8 because it's 2 + 6 = 8. So that favors the Eagles there. That being said, that day is also a 9 universal day. So it has energy for both. It has the 8 and the 9 energy present. This doesn't surprise me that these two teams are meeting this day. None of this is surprising. The numbers all point to it. Even in their first matchup that they had, the score equal to 9 and 8. I think I got that slide up here. I might show that picture. The score equal to 9 and 8. So that's interesting because they respectively, a 9 and 8 team, the score equaled that. So this is how things work. So that being said, the Eagles will be having a 5 universal day. The Commanders will be having a 6 universal day. So out of those lytics alone right there, the Commanders have a slight edge because it's a 9 universal day for them. That 8 is somewhat of an opposition to them. But that 6 is not. So they're having a 6 universal day. So they might be coming for their own sense of justice that day. So one never knows this one. So these were the numeralytics on these two teams. I hope you guys found that interesting. Just something to do, a little fun to have, and look at the football. Of course, this is Numbers Matter, where we look at people, places, and things, and we pay, universal numeric interpretive tribute to them, making this a unit. This was unit number 5, but now that you guys have joined me, it's now unity number 5. So I want to thank everybody that joined me in the audience. And I want you real quick, if you're in here, who do you think is going to win the game this Sunday? Who do you think has the edge? You can just put it in there. And if you're watching this on a rebroadcast, let us know in the chat below, who do you think would have the edge in the game this week? Okay. And before we get out of here, we have to take care of some family business. Okay. So first of all, let me do a couple things over here. And then I'm going to let you guys know what we have coming up. We have some very interesting things coming up on the show. And I want to make sure that you guys are here for that. Okay. So let me put that up here. And then on our next show, which will not surprisingly be tomorrow, we'll be back live tomorrow at 4 p.m. We have an excellent show tomorrow at 4. I'm going to be having none other than the Astro numerologist, metaphysician extraordinaire, Kimberly. She will be gracing us with her presence tomorrow at 4 p.m. Make sure you tune in live for this. We will be discussing the planets and their rulership. Now, if you don't know, right now, the planets are all in alignment right now. It started on January 21st. It's peaking actually tomorrow on the 25th is where it's going to peak. And then it's going to stay like that for a little while. So, we have Kimberly to come on to talk about this a little bit on the Numbers Matter Podcase. It's very interesting. We're going to go through all of the planets, their rulerships, their numerological correspondence. She's going to give her synopsis on what she thinks this planet parade means for us, as above, so below. So we will definitely get into that. And I just want to make sure you guys join me. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. That's tomorrow at 4 p.m. So I know I'm on tonight and it's a little back to back, but hey, it's plenty for you to do now. There's no excuse. You got plenty to do. You can watch this, you can rewatch it, you can send this to your friends that like football, and you can tap in tomorrow live with us with Kimberly and I, so we can break down these planets, and then you can get a better knowledge of your planet, because the queen is so thorough. She's going to be really breaking this down. So she's going to talk about the birthday numbers, so you can learn how to get your birthday number and learn what planet corresponds with your birthday number. So I want to make sure that you guys tune in for that tomorrow. Make sure you guys like and subscribe this video, share the video. Let me just take this out of here. Make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. And I really want to thank you for being live with us tonight. Peace, love, kings and queens up to the family. And we are going to get out of here.